Hello, welcome to TNT, another week, and today we're coming to you from a few different locations, starting at the Phuket International Airport, heading to Penang in Malaysia for 3 or 4 days of business. So will be a bit of a mishmash of programs, but always bringing you all the latest stories from Thailand and the important stories from the region. Now, if not for Russian and Indian tourists, this airport would be largely empty. Quite an amazing situation and a very swift change in the mix for Phuket tourism, indeed for tourism around Thailand as we move into the high season for 2022-23. Luckily, the first time we've had a big high season for, about 2.5, nearly 3 years. So just in the last 10 minutes or so, an Aeroflot plane, a Boeing 777, departed heading back to Russia. My understanding is that all these, if not most of the Boeing's 777s, are leased from an international aircraft leasing company. So a big question as to how those aircraft have to be flying out of Russian airspace and what their situation is from a legal standpoint. But I'm sure the Phuket airport officials are all over that one. Let's hope so anyway. Also noting a story we did last week, in fact on Friday, about the botched gold shop robbery where I think 2 people were shot. One of them was reported to have died. Well, shots over the weekend in quite a lot of Thai social media from different gold shops showing their weaponry. Not 100% sure if all that weaponry is real or not, but that's some of the PR coming out of the gold shops trying to discourage future gold robberies. They do seem to happen quite frequently. Anyway, it looks like the gold shops are fighting back. We'll take our flight to Penang today, and bits and pieces of the program coming to you from Penang this week. Thanks for joining us on TNT. And just like that, here we are in Studio 526, rather sophisticated and Peranakan style. Very, very early on in the morning here in Penang, and I'll be here at least for the next few days. Now, there were some problems, as you could see, at Penang immigration. Took 2 hours to get through immigration, a lot of very disgruntled people. And I also, over the next couple of days, I'm going to alert you to some potential problems for people getting visas outside Thailand at the moment. There have been some notable tightenings. I was speaking to a couple of visa agents last night, and I think there are some looming problems which I'm going to bring you up to date with over the next few days. But starting off with some fairly dramatic footage. This is a fire that happened in Phuket yesterday. Fire damages ferry at pier on Serai Island, and the story basically says that there was a fire damaging a ferry parked at a pier on Serai Island, which we call Koh Serai, and it happened at 6 a.m. yesterday morning. Other media is reporting that it happened around about 7:30, so somewhere in there. But let's go and have a look at the actual video footage, and this captured by Newshawk Phuket. And this ferry, quite a big ferry, carries 400 or 500 people, and well ablaze by the time this video was taken. And yeah, you can see a lot of boats around there. They would have been doing their best to get those boats out of the way. And it looks a bit like the boat is actually sort of in motion. I don't know, maybe they're trying just to get it out of the way. Apparently there wasn't anybody on board at the time. So it's not actually the boat in the foreground there, it's the boat behind that particular video, but plumes of black smoke feeding off the fiberglass, of course, and all the plastics on board, making a great big mess. Plumes of smoke into the sky. People must have been wondering what the hell was going on. So, as I said, that video from Newshawk Phuket. I'm sort of leaning right down today. The screen's quite a long way down from me, but let's go to some other details there. Firefighters and the people from Phuket Express, this story, by the way, from thephuketexpress.com, arrived at the scene to find the fire was heavily ablaze at the ferry parked at the pier. No injuries were reported at this stage. It's believed the fire started from an electrical short circuit. Often does start from electrical short circuits, and the exact cause of the fire is being investigated by forensic police. Just noticing there that in the paragraph above, the ferry can carry 490 passengers. Luckily, there was nobody on board. The ferry was heading out to Koh Phi Phi for the day, and on a ferry like that, it's about a 2-hour ride. But obviously, those passengers would have had to have found some other way of getting out to Koh Phi Phi yesterday. So big fire in Phuket. Going to our next story today, and K Research forecasts 21 million plus arrivals in Thailand next year. Just noting that there's been a big brouhaha, of course, over the past 3 or 4 months about Thailand reaching the 10 million arrivals, which it did last Thursday, but officially on Saturday when the Prime Minister was there to meet the 10 millionth passenger. And the Capricorn Research Centre says the Thai tourism sector could expect to rebound back to a 60% recovery of the pre-pandemic times. Just remembering that in 2019, the last full year before COVID-19, there were 39,600,000 people come through the turnstiles at the Phuket International Airports and land crossings. So that was the, I suppose, that 40 million number is the number they're all trying to reach again. And people are less afraid of new COVID-19 waves being sparked. Yeah, I think COVID-19 is much less of a problem these days. Things like the cost of the flights, the geopolitical situation, inflation, they're the things that I think are causing people to wonder exactly where they're going at the moment. The Nation story said that the centre added that Thailand can also expect to see more tourists from Middle Eastern countries rather than China. Interesting sentence here. We don't expect Chinese tourists to return in hordes yet because the Chinese government's still imposing stringent measures, although we note last week there was a lot of talk about measures being lifted in many parts of China. So let's hope that situation is slowly going to abate, and maybe even early next year we might start to see more Chinese travelling. It's not that the Chinese aren't travelling in total. I think over the past 3 or 4 months there were some 130,000 Chinese people coming to Thailand, so it's not as if everybody is not coming at the moment. And down the bottom there, they're expecting each foreign traveller should spend about 42,000 baht next year, compared to about 40,000 baht per person this year. So good question there. How much do you spend when you come to Thailand? They've been spending about 40,000 baht each this year. They're hoping to get people to spend 42,000 baht each next year. And it also notes that back in 2019, they were spending nearly 48,000 baht each. I think you could probably get away with a holiday in Thailand for less, and of course you could spend a lot more. But interesting that the average cost per person that visits Thailand is, well, roughly between 40 and 50,000 baht. Now, speaking of that 10 millionth passenger, Thai PM chairs Amazing Thailand 10 million celebrations at Suvarnabhumi Airport. Airports around the country were celebrating this mythical 10 millionth passenger. As I mentioned the other day, they actually arrived on Thursday. We don't know who that person was, but much fuss was made in this sort of pre-orchestrated bit of PR. And the Thai PM, Prayut Chan-o-cha, presided over the Amazing Thailand 10 million celebrations welcome ceremony at Suvarnabhumi Airport. It also happened at a number of key airports and border checkpoints, and celebrating, of course, the momentous 10 millionth person coming through the turnstiles at immigration this year. Now, a lot of work has been done by a lot of people, obviously, to achieve that. Thai tourism and getting it rebooted is very important for the Thai economy, and so reaching 10 million this year, given that they only started opening the borders in January this year, and it wasn't anything like fully open until after August, I think they've done very well to get those 10 million people coming through the turnstiles. The Prime Minister said on behalf of the Thai government, the Thai people and Thai entrepreneurs in the travel and tourism industry, I wish to extend the warmest welcome to all visitor arrivals. Of course, he didn't say it in English, he said it in Thai, but this is the translation. Events at the 9 locations showcased Thailand's soft power foundations. They're loving this soft power at the moment, aren't they? This includes cultural shows and souvenirs unique to each location presented to arriving passengers on the designated flights. Were you on one of those designated flights? Did you get welcomed into Thailand by the Thai Prime Minister? Imagine you've just spent 17 hours sitting in a plane and you're all dishevelled, your hair's all over the place, and all you want to do is get into a shower, rush to immigration. There's the Thai Prime Minister. Sawadee ka. He'd be going, oh, hi, yeah, great to see you too. Can I go to the immigration? Anyway, a lot of activities. Now, of course, the 10th million passenger, I'm not sure exactly who they were. I think they were from a flight from Oman, but I'm glad it wasn't this particular passenger. The Nation reporting that an elderly Thai man dies on a flight home from Saudi Arabia. That would have been a little bit embarrassing. A 71-year-old Thai man died on a flight home from Saudi Arabia on Saturday. Looks like they were doing their trip to Mecca, the man being a Muslim and returning home after doing, I think it's the Hajj, and visiting Mecca. Interesting down the bottom there, they say they later tested the deceased, identified as Bahem Seso, for COVID-19 using a rapid antigen test, which found he had the virus. Not sure why they're making a big thing about that, but those rapid antigen tests are, well, not particularly accurate, and I'm not exactly sure how accurate they are when the person is in fact deceased. They've not confirmed the cause of death, but said the man died whilst on the flight. Another story, or another version of it, from the Bangkok Post: a Thai pilgrim dies on a flight back from Saudi Arabia, and a Thai Muslim from Pattani died on board the Thai Airways international flight coming back from Jeddah to Suvarnabhumi Airport. The airline had informed the police before landing that a passenger had died during the flight. The dead man, 71, was found dead in his seat. He died about 2 hours before the flight landed, and no traces of physical harm were found on him. He was initially believed to have died from acute heart failure, a cardiac arrest. So very distressing, of course, for his family, and probably quite distressing for the other passengers sitting around him at the time. So that story from the Bangkok Post, and earlier covered in The Nation. You're watching TNT. Thanks for watching the program today. Monday, a brand new week. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. At the start of the program, I mentioned about those Aeroflot 777s landing at the airport. After I actually recorded that opening of the program, there were another 2 Aeroflot 777s arriving at Phuket International Airport. So a lot of people coming in from Russia at the moment. I thought I'd better just check exactly what's happening with the leasing of those planes. Now, the information was actually not particularly easy to find, but I did find this article, but it's all the way back from March this year, and it was from Reuters. Lessors face legal quagmire as Russian plane repos stall. So I didn't exactly know how many of the fleet were leased and how many were owned by the Russian government. Now, an Aeroflot Boeing 777 narrowly escaped being seized at the initiative of a non-Russian bank in Southeast Asia and the Gulf in the past week, just noting that that is back in March this year. Also an Airbus A321, that's a single aisle plane, was the target of a failed repossession in Egypt. And in total there are about 780 jets leased by Russian airlines, including 515 from abroad. So it also says that some 425 of these are most at risk in what looks set to become aviation's biggest mass default. Now, the Russian government, or President Vladimir Putin specifically, then seized the planes that were still in Russia. Now, a lot of these planes flying outside of Russia to ports including Bangkok and Phuket. So interesting situation. I don't exactly know what's going on. I'm not sure whether those planes that arrived yesterday were leased or not. If you know, if you've got any firm information, then please respond in the comments section and we'll pass that information on. Now, speaking of that ferry, I actually also later, after doing the story, found this picture of the ferry after the blaze was put out, and a lot of damage. I think you could describe that as totaled. That ferry, which was able to carry 490, was at dock when it caught fire yesterday. Moving through to another story from Thai PBS World. Poll shows Pheu Thai party standing the best chance of forming the next government if everything sort of goes to plan and just goes through its natural progression. The current parliament in Thailand will end in March next year, which will lead to a new election probably on May the 7th. That's the prediction at the moment. The Pheu Thai party is the party of the Shinawats, Thaksin Shinawat, Yingluck Shinawat, and now the haven't been named as the prime ministerial candidate, but sort of the leading lady, if you like, is the youngest daughter of Thaksin Shinawat, Patongtan, and a poll was done recently. And it says that NIDA, these are the people who conducted the poll, conducted an opinion poll on some 1,310 people between December the 7th and the 9th, and 40.3 people said that Pheu Thai stands the best chance of forming the next government. Move Forward Party, the Move Forward Party, which is the other opposition party to the current government, has a 30.2% chance of forming the next government. The Palang Pracharat Party, and they are the leading coalition conservative member of the government, only a 10.7% chance of definitely becoming the government, and only 5.7% of this new United Thai Nation Party, which is the party that's being split off from Palang Pracharat, which would form a sort of second conservative pillar, probably with the current Prime Minister leading its way into a potential leadership position. And then for the Bumjai Thai Party, this is the party led by Anatun Shavirakun, who is shrouded by a whole lot of smoke from his cannabis initiatives. A 21.6% chance, they're saying a good chance of forming the government, and the Democrats with a 13.2% chance, a good chance of joining the next government, so not even being predicted of leading in their own right. There's more details, obviously a lot more information there at the Thai PBS story. But all the way from Studio 427 here in Penang and our Peranakan themed set. Thank you very much for watching today. Hopefully you're a bit more up to date with things happening around Thailand, and we look forward to doing it again with you tomorrow.